You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How are you doing? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. I've been pretty good, I guess. Not much going on. Just the same old, trying to stay busy with, doing various things around the house. That's kind of it. I finished my Deep Space Nine watching, and then I tried watching Voyager, and I got like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And then so now I'm watching Enterprise, which is like the first, the what do you call it, prequel to the original Star Trek. And then I think once I'm done with that, I'll watch the original Star Trek series, which I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever watched an episode of it. I've seen clips and parts. I probably have watched some. I just don't remember, like when I was younger, maybe. But yeah, so I'll give that a shot. I tried watching The Next Generation, but I don't know. Kind of the same thing with I know Next Generation is like one of the more popular ones, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I like Deep Space Nine, actually, a lot. I was thinking about doing like just talking about that show and just what I liked and didn't like. I mean, it's not really my thing, but my my podcast isn't really anything. It's just whatever. Anyway, but so that's all it's been with me. I'm actually about to go to the gym, and then I came across this article, or I saw, I think it was like a short or something, and then so I pulled it up to look at it, and so I don't, like I said, I'm not really trying to get political and news. I mean, I don't, my podcast, I just talk about whatever, but, like I don't, on my private social medias, I try and I've started just sticking away from political stuff as much as possible and just saving, and that's why I have like my Objective Jerk. So I have, Instagram and various things like that. So anything that's like kind of more political or kind of podcast related, then that's where I post all that stuff. Which means I'm not posting. Gosh, can't speak. Which means I'm not really posting too much on my personal one. I guess maybe I could Star Trek. I don't know. Anyway, so man, this is a banger of a opening. Anyway, so this article came across this. Trump ignites culture war with extraordinary plan to ban transgender Americans from owning guns. Now, immediately, because I like the Second Amendment. I don't think you should ban, guns from almost any. I mean, unless you're like illegal, you're a criminal. Where they already have the bans. If you're convicted felon, whatever, whatever, all the different reasons why people can't carry guns, but to ban, obviously, it's probably going to be a little more not so black and white, but it's just banning just because transgender have been the shooters in many of the most recent shootings. It's just, I don't agree with it. You shouldn't ban, because there are transgender individuals who do have body dysmorphia or whatever it's called, and they have a right to protect themselves too, So I don't know if they're just kind of, it almost seems like they're messing around trying to create, because how the left is always ban guns. And like, okay, well, it's ban guns for transgender. Wait, hold on. Like they're trying to mess with them a little bit. That's what I'm kind of thinking it is. Um, because you can't, because how are they gonna, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in legislature and all that kind of stuff, but you saw how, now it's not exactly the same, but you saw how the Patriot Act, right? The government is always, and I've said it before. Yes, I consider myself conservative and I vote Republican pretty much. I don't, red no matter or till I'm dead or whatever the saying is. And if it's people I don't know, I'll try and look and see what they're talking about. On the last election, there was a couple Democrats I voted for. I mean, it was like one or two, I think, but they were like, I don't remember what they were exactly. But it's just kind of a slippery slope, you know. So 9/11 happened, everybody was enraged. I mean, the only good thing about 9/11 was everybody was like came together. Every every race, every whatever, you were American, we were here for each other and we helped each other and very patriotic and stuff. So that was cool, but it sucked because of what happened. Now, again, how much of 9/11 was legit and organic and how much of it was perpetuated by, you know, whatever you want to say. I think some of it, I've said before, I don't know why I try and act like I don't post my stuff on YouTube. It automatically does, but you watch some content creators and they're really cautious about things that they say because they're, that's how they make their money. So I get it, but I don't, so I don't care. But I think 9/11 was planned by terrorists and for the most part carried out, but I think it was allowed to happen. And I think the American government kind of aided a little bit. I think they could have stopped it, basically. And they allowed it to happen because they saw an opportunity. That's what I kind of think. Anyway, so because of that, you had America just like freak, this is insane. You had these people here taking, flying lessons and all this stuff, and they're doing this and that. So they're like, well, for us to combat this, we need to be able to search people without warrants, search these individuals that come over without warrants and be able to just check real quick and make sure that they're not terrorists, and then move on. The thing is that now that moved over to everybody. So then now the government can just watch and spy without warrants on anybody. So we saw how that played out. That's what this, I believe, would start out as, because right now Trump's killing it. Republicans are in office. From the conservative side, things are going well. From the liberal side, they're miserable. But what happens when we do finally get Kamala Harris type person in office again? And then they're like, oh, well, they banned trans, so now let's ban, people who protested January 6th, or, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You're opening up the can of worms. So I don't agree with banning weapons for trans because, and it's just, I don't know if I've explained my opinion on it, but it's like I said, there are people who have gender dysmorphia and are trans. It's still a mental problem. But the thing is, the majority of the trans in the world right now, especially in America, they have, it's other issues, it's other sicknesses, illnesses, whatever. And, they just the thought of them, or they bring it up, they're getting, if they mention the fact that like, hey, now you have all these, I'm pansexual and this and that and whatever. And then they just get all this clout and like, oh my gosh, you're so brave and this and that. And then they're getting all this admiration. So they're like, oh man, this is great. So then they're like, oh yeah, I'm trans. I can be, I should be a girl and this and that. I like this kind of stuff. And they're getting all this attention, but it's not real. You know what I mean? And then they start, and then you have, there's so many different people. So you have these people who are just sick deviants who want to look like a woman to go in the bathroom, to go in girls' bathrooms as a man. And like you have that guy that he's got a deeper voice than me. And, somebody calls him sir on accident and he gets all pissed off like, I'm misgendered. I'm misgendered. It's like, dude, you hear the voice coming, you're going to say, sir, it happened to me a bunch of times. And when you hear the voice and stuff, you're like, it's just kind of retarded. It's ridiculous. So you just have, you have various individuals that are trans for multiple different reasons. And you have the ones that are just like, they get off on the fact of making women uncomfortable in the bathroom and causing all that, you know what I mean? There are people that do that. But then you have the individuals that I think, like the shooter, who are just getting the attention from it and they like it and they keep going. So they already have a mental disorder, but then you add on all the medications and everything that they're given for transitioning, and it's going to mess you up. It dulls your, sympathy and caring for other people, your empathy and apathy, whatever, all the apathy, all the thieves. And so then they just believe all the stuff that's going on, and you got people saying you're so awesome and so brave. And then you have people, dude, you shouldn't be doing this. You're a man, and they get hurt by it and they want to lash out and, and it's, I don't know. And that's where we are, you know what I mean? So to just say to ban trans from guns, I think is unfair. I don't think it's right. I don't think you should. I mean, regardless of the fact that trans are committed the last how many, it is a problem. But just like I say with any kind of shooting, banning accessibility to guns or banning a gun is not the answer, man. It's just not. I think I got my stuff turned up too loud. That's the easy way. You know what I mean? That's kind of the Band-Aid. That's not getting the surgery. It's just, you got to deal with the mental problems, and you have to deal with all the prescriptions in the world. And the thing is, both sides, conservative, liberal, they all benefit from pharmaceuticals. They get money, This is why I'm kind of pulling back from politics, because they're all corrupt. They really are. Anyway, so I saw this article, and I kind of wanted to read it and just talk about it. How long is it? Okay, I don't think it's not that long. All right, so this is on the Daily Mail. It says Trump ignites culture war with extraordinary plan to ban transgender Americans from owning guns.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. Like, people are just like, oh, okay, I'm trans. Well, you can't have a gun. Oh, nope, I'm not trans. I don't know. Like, what? How do you clarify? It would have to be something, I guess, going actually through the transition and taking the stuff, because you have so many people who don't, and they just claim to be trans. But anyway, President Trump, Justice Department could take a huge step to address gun violence that goes against decades of precedent. I had a burp, sorry. Precedent sent by previous Republican administrations. In the wake of the latest school shooting in Minneapolis last week, see, it's not, I don't think it was at the church. That's the thing that kind of bothers me. It's a Catholic school. Gosh, man. No matter what I do, I cannot get rid of this crap. Dude, if anybody knows or give me some tips on, it's annoying. Anyway, I can see why I have 5 listeners because they don't want to listen to me hawk a lung out all the time. Anyway, what was I saying? I think I was just reading it, right? Individuals within the DOJ are in the DOJ are reviewing ways to ensure that mentally ill individuals suffering from gender dysmorphia, dysphoria. What was I saying? Dysmorphia. Yeah, I was saying it wrong. Are unable to obtain firearms while they are unstable and unwell. The DOJ source claimed. See, I don't know. Like, it seems like there's because you have people that are taking. You have millions of people who are unwell, who aren't trans. You know what I mean? All the SRIs and everything, even the stuff like I was taking. If you have thoughts of suicide or harming others, please let your doctor know. All of them say that because they all have the ability to do that to people. And it all depends on the individual. You know, it's like I said before, like alcohol or caffeine, it all affects everybody differently. So, you know, you could have somebody who's on SRIs their whole entire life. It helps them and never have any problems. But then you have people that take it and it messes up the way their brain works and they end up wanting to take out their aggression on somebody or something. It's not as simple as banning guns or, you know, you can't even just like get rid of SRIs. They are helpful for some people, but like they're just they just hand it out like candy too much is the problem, really. Anyway, the Daily Mail has reached out to the Justice Department to comment on this report, but the report comes after Robin Westman, a biological man who now identifies as a woman, carried out a mass shooting. Yeah. 2 children were killed. We know all this. He was born Robert, but changed his name. I'm not going into this individual. But look at this. Yeah, so look at this picture. Well, you can't because there's a picture of him showing a video of him buying his gun, seen in surveillance video at the gun store in St. Louis Park 5 days before carrying out. And the dude is a dude. Well, I guess at that point that's right, because he quit being trans. He still had his long hair or something. So yeah, I mean, he's obviously a guy. But okay, my observation is incorrect because yeah, he did. From his writings, he stopped. He regretted it. 2 years prior, another transgender killed a Christian. Okay, we know that. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about. We all know that it's been going on, right? And it could be. It's not even. You know, the fact that that they're trans and they have this mental illness. It could be, you know, because I do believe in the whole. I mean, it's not that I believe, but it's fact. MK Ultra, right? They tried various things to control people's minds through LSD and, you know, all kinds of stuff. You think they stopped? You think the government stopped that? No. And I think individuals such as this Robin, whatever, are very susceptible to these kind of mind control tactics. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, let's put Jesus aside and the, you know, devil and demons and all that kind of stuff. Let's just take that out of the equation for a second and just like kind of look at, you know, what's going on. And, you know, you have to imagine that it was kind of hard for people to find individuals who would be susceptible for this. And, finding, what's his face that shot Robert F. Kennedy, right? Or just all the individuals, you know, people all over the world that they've had used as scapegoats or patsies or to kill, assassinate individuals, that the American government was involved with, was probably pretty was a painstaking process to find these individuals, find out if they would react how they wanted and would do whatever and blah blah blah. I think there came a point in time where they discovered that these individuals, and especially the trans, I think are more susceptible to it. And now they don't have to sit there and try and find or see if somebody's trans when everybody's, I'm trans, look at me, woohoo. And then all they got to do is just go and find out individuals and do a little research, find out who's going through the process, taking the meds or whatever. And they're like, blam, blam, blam. Okay, these people. And then it breaks down the pool. It's almost like, what's that program for hiring and recruiting, the website? Job Recruiter or something, it helps break down and helps you find the candidate easier. That's basically kind of what this is, I think, for whatever is now MK Ultra. It's like, what is it called? See if I can I want to say Hip Recruiter, but that's not it. Job Recruiter. Anyway, there's, so now they don't have to, it's not as hard to find these individuals or possible individuals that they can recruit to do these things, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's one reason why I believe the government pushes for it so much. Ooh, you're trans, and it's like they just celebrate it so much. Because you're like, what? Why are, there's money to be made from when you convert, when you transition, because you have to have the surgeries, and it's a lifelong, it's not like you just have the surgery and, ooh, all right, I'm a woman. You have to take medication and get checks routinely for the rest of your life. So there's so much other stuff. Yeah, if you want to break it down or simplify it, it's evil and demonic, but there's other reasons, I believe. So, wow, I went on a tangent there, huh? Anyway. Okay, so there's been a lot of attacks and that have been trans, right? So the shootings have led to DOJ considering preventing people with the mental illness of gender dysphoria from being able to purchase a gun as a way to crack down on the rise of school shootings. But okay, so they won't be able to purchase it. The guy who committed the last one, he was able to purchase a gun. But people will still find a way. Banning doesn't do anything. That's why I'm like, what are they doing? And so banning trans from being able to purchase a gun is only going to open the door to allow that to happen to someone else. When the Democrats come in office, they're going to ban far-right individuals from having a gun, and it's still not going to do anything. It's just because the people who want to use the gun for, evil or to commit these atrocities, they're going to get the gun, and they don't care that, they go to prison because they all kill themselves or they get killed, So banning to prevent people from things like this happening is not going to do anything. It's just not. The shootings have led to, read that, despite the widespread community concerns over transgender shooters, any ban would likely trigger a culture war with the far Democrat Ilhan Omar. Isn't she already? I thought she got voted out or something. Last the White House. Oh, this is okay. Minnesota Democrat member of Progressive Squad insists that it's not the moment to point fingers, instead urging a ban on assault weapons and more funding for mental health. I always hate when if it was a MAGA dude, like straight up, and he shot up a gay club or something, they'd be pointing fingers. You know what I mean? But whenever it's on the other side, this ain't the time to point fingers, and all politicians do it. I'm so sick of it. That's why I kind of quit. following politics because it's just, what's the point? It never changes. I mean, it does. It just evolves a little bit, you know? It's the same BS over and over again. Department of Justice spokesman said there are a range of options on the table to address gun violence. Under General Bondi, I don't really like her that much, leadership, consider a range of options to prevent mentally unstable individuals from committing acts of violence. They're gonna, yeah, I don't know. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, gender dysphoria is defined as a condition characterized by a marked and persistent incongruence, did I say that right? Between one's experienced or expressed gender and their assigned sex, resulting in significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. Asked about the differentiation between identifying someone with gender dysphoria and someone who is trans-identifying, a DOJ source told the Daily Wire they're not playing semantics with words like dysphoria. We're talking about trannies, and we don't think they should have guns, they added. The move to prohibit someone from buying a gun based on a medical diagnosis goes against, many Second Amendments. See, that's the thing. It's going to backfire on other people. That's not what you do. This is not how you combat it. Because these people that are jacked up and want to commit this, the person could have locked the doors like they did and just set the church on fire or, make bombs on the entrances. They'll find other ways. They'll do other things. It's not the delivery of the violence. It's the mental health that's causing these people to commit this violence, And the sooner people realize that, but they just won't because there's too much money in it, I mean, there are things that we can do. We gotta cut back on this, the gay pride stuff, and I mean, because it's adding to it. I was always, I didn't care if people were gay and whatever, it was fine. It's like it wasn't hurting anybody else. But guess what? It is now. It's just gotten to the point where it's, all the things that, gosh, I hate to say it really, but, all the things that people would talk about as far as letting gays have this and that and women this and that. But look at how just things are turning out. And people are like, whoa, women, what are you talking about? Well, women didn't always have the right to vote, which I used to think that's messed up. But then once I learned the reasoning was because women didn't go off to war. They didn't get, forced to join the military and go fight in a war. I can't think of the stupid word right now. So they shouldn't be able to vote on who can make those decisions when they're not even involved in the outcome of that. You know what I mean? What is it called when you get, can't even think what it is. But, and then it's just like they push women should do this and that. And it's like, now you have these white liberal women in charge of so many things in the country. And it's going to shit, man. Everything is just going to crap. Cracker Barrel, Disney, just everything, And then you look and you see who's in charge of it. And it's like, yep, middle-aged white liberal woman, of course. I don't know. It's just crazy. World is crazy. That's why you just gotta brush it off. Don't worry about it. Crack open that Bible. Go to Mass. Pray the Rosary. And, that's about it, right? Anyway, I don't know. So, that's it. I'm already talking for 30 minutes. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have a good cure for my sinuses. I mean, I live in the Philippines. It's humid. I'm in my room. It's air conditioned. I'm talking with my hand. But when I start talking a lot like I do for the podcast, it just comes out. I have a throat lozenge right now. It's like I need to take a big old whiff of Pine Sol or something before I do my podcast. Plus, I got that cough that I'm taking some meds for that because I had this dry cough and like nothing would come out. So finally, taking some meds, and that's part of it, I guess. But even when I don't have that, I'm always like, gosh, mucus galore. It's awesome. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.